You're listening to WJHS 91.5, The Eagle. Welcome to Media in the Making, a podcast where we look at the evolution of media from 1600 all the way to present-day 2020. In this podcast series, you will learn how different forms of media have changed culture. Media in the Making, where media and culture are always changing. Now, let's go all the way back to 1888. You would not be taking photos and posting them, sending them to your friends, or even FaceTiming people if it wasn't for the Kodak. Modern culture is still being affected by the massive impact of this tiny camera. Hello, I'm Sid, and welcome to Media in the Making. I'm here to talk about the original Kodak camera. First introduced in 1888 by George Eastman, this was the first affordable all-in-one camera that was sold to the public. George Eastman was an entrepreneur who was instrumental in taking photography into the public eye. Before his Kodak camera, taking photos was a very tedious process and was also really expensive. It wasn't something that the everyday person could do. George wanted to change that, though. And after becoming very successful by founding a dry plating company, dry plates were the way pictures were taken back then. It was a glass plate coated in some sort of light-sensitive material that was then slotted into the camera. This process was not very efficient and wasn't cost-effective either. In 1881, Peter Houston, a farmer from Cambia, Wisconsin, issued a patent for an invention that would change photography completely. This was roll film. It used a transparent roll of film, which was sort of a plastic substance, that was based with more light-sensitive material. It was a huge improvement over the plate system and made taking photos easy and compact. And the first camera to use this was the Kodak, of course. The patent was licensed to George in the same year it was invented, where he then improved upon it and made it easier to use, and then built his camera around the idea of this roll film. This was one of the biggest selling points of the Kodak, because even though it was intended for the public, amateur photographers and people who were already in the hobby could get just as much out of it as the regular person could. In 1888, it sold at just $25 and included a roll of film and a leather carrying case. The camera itself was really simple. It was just a rectangular box with a small button for taking the photos, a winder on the top, and a small lens on the front. There was no viewfinders at this time, so you basically had to guess where the lens was pointing and hope it turned out right. This simplicity, though, was a very big selling point for the camera. You also didn't even have to develop the film. You could just send the camera back to Eastman and his company, and they would send all the pictures back to you. Very simple, and it really helps sell the camera. The Kodak was a huge success for Eastman and fundamentally changed how cameras and photography were seen by the public eye. It went from a niche hobby to a popular pastime that continued all throughout the 1900s. Kodak quickly became the face of the camera industry, and their slogan, "You press the button, we do the rest," became well known throughout the world. Though Kodak isn't as instrumental in modern photography as they were back then, their influence still affects us today. Almost everyone takes photos now. They're so integrated into our culture that we don't really think about it. It's kind of just second nature to be able to pull out our phones and take a photo instantly of anything at any time. And I doubt the popularity and integration of cameras would be so prevalent in our culture if it wasn't for the original Kodak. That was Media in the Making, brought to you by WJHS 91.5 and the Eagle Tech Academy mass media students. Media in the Making aims to teach you about the evolution of media throughout history and its effects on culture. For more from the students, this podcast series will be on the 91.5 website, wjhs.org. Thank you for tuning in.